Hey everybody, Big Toad here. Welcome back to another video on 2D game creation in Unreal Engine 5. This is video number 16 and we're going to work on zooming the camera. In your game, your 2D game or your 2D 3D hybrid game, you're going to want to be able to set that camera up at the distance that works best for your character and for your environment. Let's first take a look at how I've got my current camera set up in my game. I'm kind of set up for a hybrid 2D 3D. And I mean, that distance works for some games. We might want to move that back. So let's take a look at how we can move that back away from it and get us a little wider view. I'm going to bring in this arrow and make a reference for how tall my character is so we can actually see the difference when we change the camera zoom distance. I'm going to kill this game session and open up my third-person player character, which over the course of these tutorials I've turned into a 2D character. Inside our 2D player character now, we have two camera components that we're going to work in. The camera boom and the follow camera. Let's start with the camera boom. Over on the details for the camera boom, we have target arm length. And that's the length of the boom, which then dictates how far the camera is from the subject. And the subject is our 2D character. Let's close out this blueprint and run our game. I'm going to drag in our measurement arrow. If it wasn't obvious at first, it has to be obvious now based on that measurement arrow that we took, how much further away our camera is from our character. And you'll just have to adjust the camera until you get it at the distance you want from your character for the game you're developing. Let's go ahead and close this out now. We've seen how that works. I'll move the measurement arrow out of the way and open up the third-person player character again. And I'm going to change that target arm length to 600 and see what that looks like in game. Then I will compile, minimize that, and run the game. Bring in our measurement arrow. I like that size right there, that angle of view. You'll just have to experiment until you find one works for your game. Now what I just showed you is a great way to widen the camera angle in your 2D 3D hybrid game world, but that does not work in a 2D only game world. For a 2D game world, we need to go to the follow camera. So in follow camera, then we'll go over to the details section and we're going to go down to projection mode. We're going to change that to orthographic so we will have our 2D camera view. Compile and minimize and we'll test that game. So that orthographic setting then changed it to a traditional 2D camera where there is no distance. Everything's on a single plane. So as you can see, everything works. We can still run back and forth, collect our items, push boxes around, but it's very much a 2D version. So no matter how far away in the background something sits, it's still seen on one plane. So there's no perspective, orthographic only. And you'll remember we changed the arm length on the camera boom, but that does not impact the orthographic perspective at all. So we have to change something else to get us a wider angled view, or to put it another way, move the camera further away from the character. So let's kill this game and go back into our third-person player character and make us another adjustment. So the change we want to make is ortho width, and the larger that number, the wider the view and the further away the character is. And so you'll just have to adjust that and play with it until you get what you want. So with that ortho width change, let's go ahead and minimize this and run the game, see what it looks like. Now in 2D orthographic view, that is obvious that we move the camera further away. So let's hop out and make another adjustment. Back in our character blueprint, let's change that view to say 1200 and now compile and run that and see what it looks like. Again, that was an obvious change, so I kind of like the way that looks there, and there's a lot of work to do in this to make it look better. But I do have the camera distance, I think, set up pretty well for this 2D format. So let's recap real quickly what we did. So in a 3D world, we have to go into the camera boom and adjust the target arm length to move the camera in and out, zoom in and out. In a 2D world, we go into follow camera, over to projection mode and ortho width, and we increase or decrease the ortho width to move our camera further or closer to the character. So that's it. The two methods for moving your camera in and out further or closer to your character. Pretty simple, but you just got to know where to go in Unreal Engine to do those adjustments. So I hope you learned something. I hope you got yours working, and I hope you catch my next video. This is the Big Toad, and I am out.